All right, so get this. We're diving into The Lesbian Sex Bible by Diana Cage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you guys sent in some excerpts.
Juicy.
It's not just like how-to stuff.
Right.
She really digs into like lesbian identity and history and how all this culture of intimacy and pleasure like evolved.
Well, it is fascinating how she blends her academic background.
Right.
I mean, she was a gender studies professor,
Yeah.
and then her real world experience,
Yeah.
as the editor of On Our Backs magazine,
On our backs.
the first lesbian sex magazine
Wow.
created by and for women.
It's amazing.
So that gives her like a really unique perspective, I think.
Totally. It really comes through in how she connects lesbian history to sexual liberation.
Mm-hmm.
She talks about this book by lesbian historian Lillian Faderman called To Believe in Women.
Okay.
And it argues that lesbians have been at the forefront of social change
Interesting.
because they weren't, bound by traditional gender roles. They had more freedom to challenge norms.
Yeah, makes sense.
And Cage suggests that this spirit of pushing boundaries continues today with, things like lesbian designed sex toys, ethical porn, and even sex parties.
Oh, wow.
What stands out to you about that connection?
Well, I think it really reframes how we think about, these aspects of lesbian culture, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about pleasure.
Yeah.
It's about agency
Totally.
and creating spaces where women can explore their sexuality
Yeah.
on their own terms.
On their own terms, exactly.
And it's powerful how she uses On Our Backs as an example.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, imagine
Yeah.
during a time when these conversations were so taboo,
Totally.
this magazine was like boldly celebrating
Yeah.
lesbian sex positivity.
Okay, so let's get into what I think is one of the most important takeaways from the book.
Okay.
Cage's emphasis on confidence.
Oh, yeah.
She's basically saying, if you want to have great sex, you got to feel good about yourself.
Right. She even says, and I love this quote,
Okay.
the most imperfect person will get lots of positive attention if she carries herself with confidence. Have you found that to be true in your own experience?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Confidence is it's magnetic.
Yeah.
And it goes way beyond just like physical appearance. It's about self-acceptance, embracing your body and desires, and owning your sexuality.
Yes.
And Cage challenges like the mainstream beauty standards,
Yeah.
and she encourages a queer perspective on attractiveness.
Yeah.
She even suggests like looking at lesbian Tumblrs,
Really?
like fuckydykes.tumblr.com.
Wow.
To see real beauty and real desire.
Hmm.
It's like she's saying, forget those airbrushed magazine covers.
Right.
This is what real attraction looks like.
Now, one thing that surprised me was Cage's approach to foreplay.
Okay.
She's all about building anticipation.
Yeah.
Saying things like, start early.
Send her a suggestive text.
Yeah.
The hours until she sees you will feel like torture.
Oh, wow.
She's really encouraging us to like be mindful
Yeah.
and create a space for desire to build.
Right.
Even before getting physical.
Yeah.
It's more than just jumping into bed.
Exactly. It's about like shifting from a goal-oriented approach to sex to really appreciating the journey
Oh, yeah.
and all the delicious moments along the way.
I like that.
And Cage gives some great tips for setting the stage,
Okay.
like undressing slowly, creating a sensual environment, and whispering sexy things.
Oh, yeah.
It's about like savoring those moments.
Yeah.
And drawing out the pleasure.
And speaking of taking our time, the book is packed with advice on communication, both in and out of the bedroom.
Okay.
Cage is a huge advocate for open and honest communication,
Of course. Yeah.
saying that talking about sex doesn't, kill the mood.
Right.
It actually infuses all of your activities with an erotic charge. What do you think about that?
I mean,
Does talking about sex really make things hotter?
it can. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you and your partner are on the same page,
Yeah.
when you can express your desires and listen to each other's needs, it creates a deeper level of intimacy and trust.
Yeah.
And Cage talks about like developing a sexy vocabulary,
Okay.
using both, dirty talk and clinical terms,
Right.
and finding what feels good for both of you.
Yeah.
It's about overcoming awkwardness, making light of any fumbles,
Yeah.
and creating like a shame-free space for exploration.
Cage also acknowledges that the lesbian community is incredibly diverse
Yes.
and fluid,
Yes.
with people identifying in all sorts of ways.
Totally.
She has this great quote, "As long as you self-identify as lesbian, you'll find yourself in a lesbian panoply that includes girls, women, and grandmas, butches, studs, and trans butches."
That's great.
It's clear she's not trying to, like, define what a lesbian should be.
Right. Yeah.
But rather, like, celebrating the vast spectrum of experiences.
Yeah.
Within the community.
Yeah.
How does that resonate with you?
Well, I think it's refreshing.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
She avoids, rigid definitions.
Yeah.
And embraces the complexity of identity.
Totally.
Welcoming women of various genders, expressions, and bodies. Mm. And it's important to remember that these labels are constantly evolving.
Yeah.
Right? Reflecting the dynamic nature of identity.
Yeah.
This inclusive approach is really important.
Yeah.
Especially for those who may be, like, exploring their own identities.
Right.
Or feeling unsure about where they fit in.
Okay, now let's get a little more hands-on, shall we?
Okay.
The book has a whole section on anatomy,
Mm-hmm.
specifically exploring the vulva.
Okay.
It's incredibly detailed, using both clinical and colloquial terms.
Mm-hmm.
So it's informative, but also relatable.
Right.
She even jokes, you can make this chapter more fun by dropping your pants, grabbing a big hand mirror, and following along.
I love that.
It's like she's right there with you,
Yeah.
guiding you through a journey of self-discovery.
That's great.
And again, Cage emphasizes the diversity of female bodies,
Yeah.
making it clear that, like, not all vulvas look the same.
Right, of course.
She includes trans women
Uh.
and intersex variations,
Yeah.
reminding us that there's no one right way for a vulva to look.
Exactly.
This focus on body positivity
Yeah.
and acceptance is so important,
Totally.
especially in a world where women are constantly bombarded with, unrealistic beauty standards.
Of course. Yeah.
And we can't forget the clitoris, right? Cage dives deep into its importance.
Uh-huh.
And the fact that direct clitoral stimulation is key for most women's orgasms.
Mm-hmm.
It's about reclaiming, like, female pleasure
Yes.
and understanding the intricacies of female anatomy. Now, I know a lot of people have questions about the G-spot
Right.
and female ejaculation.
Mm-hmm.
And Cage tackles these topics head on,
Okay.
demystifying them in a way that's both informative and exciting.
I like that.
What do you think about her approach?
Well, I appreciate how she, breaks down the science behind it,
Yeah.
explaining the G-spot and periurethral sponge,
Mm-hmm.
and presenting female ejaculation as, a natural
Right.
and pleasurable experience for some women.
Definitely.
It's not something to be ashamed of or afraid of,
Yeah.
but rather something to explore
Right.
and enjoy.
And enjoy. Yeah.
She even shares a personal anecdote
Really?
about realizing the appeal of female ejaculation through a partner who experienced it.
Hmm.
It adds a personal touch.
Yeah.
It makes you realize that there's always something new to discover
Yeah.
in the realm of sexuality.
All right. Are you ready to get a little more adventurous? Because Cage doesn't shy away from anal play.
Right.
She addresses it with her signature blend of, like, practicality and humor, saying, you're already gay. You get to have as much anal sex as you want. But of course, she emphasizes safety and responsible practices throughout the book.
Right.
What are your thoughts on how she approaches this potentially sensitive topic?
Well, it's important to approach anal play, or any sexual activity for that matter,
Yeah.
with a focus on communication and consent.
Yeah.
And Cage does a good job of outlining, various techniques like rimming,
Okay.
anal fingering, and using toys,
Right?
but always stresses the importance of clear signals
Yeah.
and respecting each other's limits.
Absolutely.
It's not about pushing boundaries for the sake of it,
Right.
but rather about exploring together in a way that feels safe and pleasurable
Yes.
for both partners.
And this leads us to another topic that can be a bit taboo.
Okay.
Strap-on sex. Cage challenges the common misconception that it's not enjoyable for the wearer, emphasizing that both partners can have amazing experiences.
Yeah.
She offers some great advice on building confidence with strap-ons,
Okay.
saying things like, practice at home,
Uh-huh.
get comfortable with the equipment,
Right.
and embrace it like it's your job mentality.
Mm-hmm.
What do you make of her advice?
Well, I think it's about owning your sexuality.
Yeah.
Embracing different roles. And finding what works for you and your partner.
Right.
She even outlines like different styles of strap-on sex.
Really?
Like greeting card lovemaking.
Okay.
Power play. And spontaneous fucking.
Wow.
To showcase the diverse range of dynamics and approaches.
Right.
It's a reminder that there's no one right way to have strap-on sex.
Yeah, yeah.
And that experimentation and communication are key.
Totally. What resonates most with you about this this idea of exploring different roles?
Well, I think it's a great way to like break down assumptions about who gives and who receives pleasure in a sexual relationship.
Yeah, yeah.
It's about fluidity and being open to trying new things.
Okay, now for the fun part, right?
Yes.
Toys and tools.
Let's go.
The book delves into all sorts of dildos, vibrators, anal beads, lubes.
Yeah.
You name it.
So many options.
It's like a whole world of possibilities waiting to be explored.
Absolutely. And Cage emphasizes, finding toys that align with your desires and aesthetic preferences.
Right, right.
She quotes sex shop owner Jack LaMont. If you don't like the aesthetics of your new sex toy, you'll never want to play with it. It's about making it, a fun and personal experience.
Yeah.
And Cage encourages readers to, do their research.
Yeah.
Read reviews and really explore what's out there.
Now, hold on tight, because we're about to enter the realm of BDSM.
Yep.
Cage starts this section by saying, forget everything you think you know about BDSM.
She's on a mission to demystify it.
Yeah.
And present it as a consensual and potentially empowering form of sexual expression.
Of course.
What do you think about her approach so far? Is she succeeding in like breaking down the stereotypes?
I think she's doing a great job of reframing BDSM as something that can be, safe, playful, and even intimate.
Yeah.
She emphasizes that it's not about pain or dominance for its own sake, but about exploring different sensations, power dynamics, and pushing boundaries within clearly defined limits.
Yeah.
And she stresses over and over again the importance of safety, communication, and consent.
Speaking of pushing boundaries, Cage also explores the concept of cruising and public sex.
Okay.
She talks about different ways to find like-minded people from organized events like the Dinah Shore, basically like lesbian spring break,
to more casual cruising nights at bars or bookstores.
Right.
She even mentions the hanky code, which is a system of like using different colored handkerchiefs.
Oh, wow.
To signal your sexual interests.
Interesting.
It's fascinating how lesbians have like historically found ways to connect in public spaces, isn't it?
It is, and it speaks to like the need for community and connection.
Yeah.
But even in these spaces, Cage emphasizes respect and boundaries.
Yeah, yeah.
It's about like being mindful of other people's space and desires, even when you're feeling that initial spark.
Totally. Have you ever experienced that kind of like electric connection with a stranger?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's something so exciting about that initial like spark of attraction, that feeling of possibility.
Now, for those who want to take things to the next level, Cage talks about play parties.
Okay.
Essentially parties with sex. They can range from casual gatherings to more like organized events.
Right.
With specific themes and rules.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on play parties?
Well, play parties can be a great way to explore your sexuality.
Yeah.
In a safe and controlled environment.
Right, right.
And Cage provides like advice on navigating play party etiquette from being respectful and communicating boundaries to navigating consent in a group setting. It's a different dynamic than one-on-one sex.
Right.
So it's important to be prepared and know what you're comfortable with.
She even suggests making a list of things you'd like to try before going to a play party.
Oh, that's interesting.
So you can be more intentional about your experience.
Right.
That's a great idea, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It helps you like stay focused on what you want to explore without feeling overwhelmed by the possibilities.
Exactly. And remember, it's all about having fun and exploring new possibilities within a framework of respect.
Absolutely.
And consent.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive, from identity and anatomy to techniques and toys. But Cage doesn't shy away from addressing the challenges that lesbians face, both in their sex lives and in their relationships. We'll be back after a short break to explore these challenges and discuss how to navigate them in a healthy and empowered way.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So, one of the things that makes this book so unique is how Diana Cage, seamlessly blends practical advice with insightful social and historical context.
It's refreshing, right? How she acknowledges that terms and labels can be confusing, especially when, navigating lesbian identity.
Right.
Instead of creating these strict definitions, she really embraces the fluidity and spectrum of experiences within the community. It's great.
Yeah. This approach is particularly relevant when discussing labels like Gold Star lesbian?
Gold Star.
Or the hanky code, which may be unfamiliar to some.
Right.
Gold Star lesbian, for instance, refers to women who've only had sexual experiences with other women.
Okay.
And the hanky code, it's a system where different colored handkerchiefs signal specific sexual interests.
Wow.
These examples really highlight the diverse ways that lesbians have historically identified and communicated within their community.
So interesting. And even when discussing, familiar labels like butch and femme, she encourages exploration beyond the surface.
Right.
She recommends books like Boots of Leather, Slippers of Gold, and The Persistent Desire for a deeper understanding of these identities and their historical evolution.
Cage also emphasizes that gender identity is distinct from biological sex.
Right.
Right, acknowledging that not everyone's gender aligns with, societal expectations.
Yeah.
And she advocates for using gender-affirming language and respecting individual identities.
Yeah.
Highlighting the inclusivity of the lesbian community.
It's great. This open-mindedness extends to her chapter on masturbation.
Okay.
She presents it not just as a physical act, but as a crucial part of self-discovery and understanding what brings you pleasure. She encourages exploring your own body, experimenting with different techniques, and getting to know what feels good. Have you ever thought about masturbation as a form of self-love?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, masturbation can be a powerful tool for exploring your own sexuality. And developing a deeper understanding of your body.
Right.
And Cage even delves into, the different types of orgasms women can experience.
Really?
From clitoral to G-spot to anal.
Wow.
She breaks down the science behind arousal.
Yeah.
In a way that's easy to understand.
Yeah.
Talking about nerve pathways and the physiological changes that happen during arousal.
It's pretty amazing.
It's fascinating to learn, how our bodies respond to pleasure.
Yeah.
And how different types of stimulation can create unique sensations. Does that resonate with you?
It is empowering to understand the mechanics of pleasure, isn't it?
Yeah.
It takes away the mystery.
Yeah.
And allows us to approach our bodies with more confidence and curiosity.
And Cage doesn't shy away from addressing those, frustrating moments when orgasm seems elusive.
Yeah, those happen.
She encourages us to be kind to ourselves.
Yeah.
To switch things up. Take a break.
Right.
And come back to it when we're ready.
She emphasizes that there's no right or wrong way to have an orgasm.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that sometimes just letting go of the pressure can make all the difference. This ties back to her overall message of self-love and acceptance, being patient with yourself and not comparing your experiences to others.
Exactly.
It's so important. Now, Cage doesn't shy away from discussing more advanced techniques like fisting.
Right.
She provides step-by-step instructions, emphasizing communication, lubrication, and taking things slowly.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is how she frames this within the context of pushing boundaries and exploring different sensations.
It's about understanding that everyone has different comfort levels.
Right.
And that it's crucial to communicate clearly.
Yeah.
And respect each other's limits.
Absolutely.
Cage provides guidance for both the giver and the receiver, emphasizing the importance of clear signals.
Right.
And ensuring that everyone feels safe and comfortable.
So important. Cage also introduces a technique called the happy ending hand job. which is inspired by Tantra.
Oh, wow.
And involves like focused genital massage. It's not about, rushing to the finish line.
Right.
But rather about slowing down, paying attention to subtle sensations.
Yeah.
And creating a truly like intimate and sensual experience.
It's a reminder that pleasure can be found in unexpected places.
Yeah.
And that sometimes the simplest techniques can be the most powerful.
And speaking of exploring pleasure, Cage dives into, the wonderful world of sex toys.
It is a wonderful world.
She covers everything from dildos and vibrators to like anal beads and lubes, breaking down the different categories.
All right, yeah.
And offering suggestions for different needs and preferences.
Yeah. She even touches on like the history of sex toys.
Oh, wow.
Mentioning that archaeologists have found stone dildos.
What?
Dating back to the Paleolithic era.
That's amazing.
It's fascinating to realize that the desire for sexual pleasure and exploration is woven into like the very fabric of human history.
That's pretty cool.
It is. And Cage encourages us to embrace that history.
Yeah.
To shed any shame. Or stigma, and to explore the vast array of toys available today.
Yeah.
She talks about the importance of finding toys that you're aesthetically drawn to.
Right.
Experimenting with different shapes and sizes, and not being afraid to invest in quality.
Totally.
She highlights classic vibrators like the Pocket Rocket, known for its power and portability. And emphasizes the importance of lubrication for both comfort and safety.
Yeah.
She explains the different types of lubes available, from water-based to silicone-based, ensuring you have the knowledge to make informed choices.
Now, for those who are curious about BDSM, Cage starts this section by saying, forget everything you think you know about BDSM.
I love that.
She's on a mission to like debunk the myths.
Yeah.
And present it as a safe, consensual, and potentially empowering form of sexual expression. Have you ever like encountered any misconceptions about BDSM that you think Cage effectively addresses?
Many people, associate BDSM with pain.
Right.
And dominance.
Yeah.
But Cage emphasizes that it's about much more than that.
Yeah.
It's about exploring different sensations, power dynamics, and pushing boundaries within clearly defined limits.
Totally.
She stresses that safety, communication, and consent are paramount.
Absolutely.
In any BDSM interaction.
Right.
Cage even provides like a guide to safe words.
Okay.
Explaining, how they can be used to control the intensity of a scene.
Right.
And ensure everyone feels comfortable.
And she discusses like setting up a dungeon in your bedroom.
Oh, wow.
Emphasizing that it doesn't need to be like elaborate or expensive.
Yeah.
It's about creating a space that feels safe and conducive to exploration, whether that involves, simple blindfolds and light spanking or more elaborate setups.
Yeah.
The key is to tailor it to your own desires.
Yeah.
And comfort levels.
Cage also explores cruising.
Okay.
And public sex.
Right.
Offering, insights into different ways to find like-minded people. She talks about organized events like the Dinah Shore.
Okay.
Casual cruising nights at bars and bookstores.
Right.
And even mentions the historical hanky code used to signal, sexual interests.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to see how lesbians have historically, navigated public spaces. To connect with each other.
And for those interested in exploring group dynamics, Cage discusses play parties, which are essentially parties with sex.
Right.
She acknowledges that it's a different dynamic than one-on-one sex.
Yeah.
And provides advice on navigating play party etiquette.
Of course.
She emphasizes respect, communication, and consent in this context.
Yeah, especially given the group setting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Cage even suggests, making a list of things you'd like to try.
Oh, yeah.
Before attending a play party.
Right.
Which can, help you stay focused on your desires.
Yeah.
And ensure a more intentional experience.
Yeah.
It's all about exploring new possibilities within a framework of respect and safety.
Now, while Cage celebrates, the joys and possibilities of lesbian sexuality, she also addresses the challenges that many lesbians face, both in their sex lives and in their relationships.
Right.
We'll delve into these challenges and discuss strategies for navigating them in the final part of our deep dive. Welcome back. As we wrap up our deep dive into the Lesbian Sex Bible, I'm struck by how Cage balances, celebrating pleasure with the importance of responsibility.
Oh, absolutely. It's woven throughout the entire book. Whether she's talking about safer sex, navigating consent, or, setting boundaries in BDSM, she emphasizes respect for yourself and your partners.
And she doesn't shy away from, the real-life challenges that can, impact relationships.
Right.
We've talked about body image issues and that feeling of scarcity in dating. But Cage also goes deeper, addressing the difficult topic of intimate partner violence.
That's so important, yeah. It's a reminder that abuse can happen in any relationship.
Yeah.
And recognizing the signs is crucial.
Totally.
And Cage provides resources, like the National Coalition of Anti-Violence Programs, which offer support for survivors.
That's great.
She empowers readers to seek help and break free from those situations.
And she tackles sexual health head on.
Yes.
Dispelling the myth that lesbians don't need to worry about STIs.
Right.
She emphasizes the importance of regular testing and open communication with partners. It's about taking control of your well-being, just like you would with any other aspect of your health.
What's striking is how Cage, encourages having those sometimes awkward conversations about sexual health.
Yeah.
She provides practical advice on how to approach these topics with partners.
Right.
Creating a space for honesty and open dialogue.
Going through this book, it feels like Cage is holding your hand through the entire journey of sexual exploration. She offers detailed anatomy lessons, step-by-step instructions for different techniques, and even, advice on choosing the right sex toys.
Yeah, it's a great.
But it's more than just the mechanics, right?
Exactly. She dives into the emotional and psychological aspects too.
Right.
She encourages open communication, self-love, and a playful approach to pleasure.
I love that.
It's about embracing your desires without shame.
Yeah.
And creating a fulfilling sex life that aligns with your values.
So as we wrap up, what are your biggest takeaways? What will you carry with you from exploring the Lesbian Sex Bible?
For me, it's the reminder that sexuality is a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
It's about continuous learning, exploration, and open communication, both with ourselves and our partners.
I love that. And I think it's important to emphasize the confidence, the self-love.
Yes.
And respect that should be present in every sexual encounter, whether you're trying a new technique, exploring a new toy, or just enjoying a simple, intimate moment.
Yeah.
Those values are essential.
Beautifully said. And if there's one final thought I can leave you with, it's this. Embrace the diversity and beauty of lesbian sexuality. There's no single right way to be a lesbian.
Right.
To love.
Yeah.
Or to experience pleasure.
So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those conversations going.
Yes.
If you're looking for more guidance, don't hesitate to check out the resources and authors mentioned in the book.
Yeah, great advice.
There's a whole community ready to support you on your journey.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Lesbian Sex Bible. Until next time, keep exploring.
And keep having amazing sex.
Absolutely.